I really would like to thank GrubStreet for honoring me tonight. People never give me anything. The last thing that someone gave me was COVID, so this is way better. It's really hard to believe that I've been writing for 34 years now. It is even harder for me to believe that anyone ever wanted to read anything I wrote. As I'm sure many of you know, because you're writers, I didn't get to where I am by myself. In fact, I have an army of people who I have to credit with my success, starting with my family, my publishing team. In fact, my editor, Jennifer Hershey, who I love, is here tonight, as is Laura Gross, the agent that I've had for all 34 years. One of the most surprising things about being a writer for so long is how much the job has changed and how much the world has changed around us. With the advent of social media, writers are sort of expected to be hawking themselves 24/7. But if they're lucky enough to have a platform, people really do listen. And I suppose that in today's political climate, that's a good thing, because of late, I have become the poster child for freedom of expression and the freedom to read. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Freedom of expression is crumbling in America at an alarming rate. 2 months ago, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I posted online saying that gun violence is never deserved and that I did not agree with Mr. Kirk's beliefs. I was put on a list with other authors who had the temerity to say similar things. That list grew to more than 60,000 people who dared to speak an opinion that others found objectionable. I received death threats that were reported to the police, many saying that I should expect violence if I did public events like this one. My publicist received voice messages saying that my contract should be terminated or, quote, they would be coming to bash in her head. Multiple readers told me they were burning my books so nobody else could read them. Burning books, where have we seen that before? We have seen this administration target professors, scientists, museum exhibits, historical records, as well as writers and entertainers to rewrite the narrative of this nation the way they want to. There's a reason that authoritarian governments go after writers and artists and entertainers. It's because our job is to encourage people to think critically, to dream bigger, and to find representation within our pages. All of those things are detrimental to a government that demands obedience and capitulation, which is what makes writing a dangerous job right now. We are, of course, also seeing this in the rampant escalation of book bans in America. Prior to 2020, my books were occasionally challenged. But after 2020, that number started escalating to the point where I literally could not keep track. In Martin County School District in Florida, 92 books were pulled at the request of a single parent. 20 of them were mine. The reason given? My books were porn. Spoiler alert, my books are not porn. Many of them do not have a single kiss, but they do have issues like racism, gun control, abortion rights, gay rights, and other rights that encourage kids to think for themselves. My book, 19 Minutes, was the most banned book in America in 2024. It's a pretty dubious honor. And this year, I am the 4th most banned author in the country, after Stephen King, Ellen Hopkins, and Sarah J. Maas. So why is 19 Minutes banned? Is it because it's about gun violence? Nope. It's because of a scene on page 313 in which a date rape occurs. The scene is not gratuitous, it's not salacious, but it uses the anatomically correct word erection. Apparently, high school students do not know what that word means. And certain parents do not want to expose them to that knowledge. Now, Florida leads the country in book bans. Between 2023 and 2024, 33 school districts in Florida banned 4,561 books. The majority of the books banned are being written by BIPOC and LGBTQ authors, and others, like mine, are called out as having mature sexual content or what they call porn. But it's not just Florida. Bans in 2024 occurred in 23 states, 87 school districts, and affected millions of students. They have increased 1,100% since 2020. PEN America has calculated that there have been more than 22,810 book bans since 2021. And school libraries are only the start. Public libraries have faced being defunded in Texas and Missouri, and at public libraries, book bans have increased by 92% in 2023, with 1,761 individual titles targeted. Now look, I'm a mom. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a parent deciding that a certain book is not right for her child. But there is a huge problem with a parent deciding that a book isn't right for anyone's child. These parents will tell you that books expose kids to topics that are salacious or revolutionary. What they actually do is give kids tools to deal with an increasingly complex world. What kids are really being exposed to are lives and mindsets different from their own, which creates compassion and empathy. We know that kids who feel marginalized, that see themselves in books, feel less alone. We know that kids who've never encountered someone who's different from themselves get to do so in the safe space of a book. Books bridge divides between people, and book bans create them. When 19 Minutes was published in 2007, it became curriculum in dozens of high schools across the country. It won multiple awards for young adult literature in Illinois, Texas, Iowa, and New Hampshire. It has not changed since it was published. But in 17 years, it went from being curriculum and award-winning to being banned. And that tells me it's society that has changed. It's parents who've been empowered by badly written laws to make decisions for other people's children. It's a government that pretends to champion freedom of expression, but only when the views being expressed match their worldview. As writers, we can't hole ourselves up in our ivory tower and pretend that the erosion of free expression isn't going to affect us, because it does. It will affect your sales, it will affect the entire market, which is why we have an even greater incentive to reverse this. We are storytellers, which means we are truth tellers. We have to use our voices loudly to call out injustice and to stand for equality. So what are some actual actionable steps that you can take? First, when someone tells you that a book ban is a hoax, tell them otherwise. As long as these books remain off library shelves under review, they are banned. Even if it's temporary, it's a ban. Even if you can get them on Amazon, it's a ban. There's a reason that school libraries exist, because for many kids, that's the only way that they can access or afford books. What else can you do? Run for office. We need school board members and legislators who can push back against these parents when they claim that they have the right to decide what other people's kids can read. Use your social media to talk about the freedom of expression. You are all authors. You need to talk about more than your books or your readers are going to get bored. Well, here you go. Here's another topic for you. Write a book that will make people clutch their pearls. I cannot emphasize this enough. If we start censoring ourselves, they win. And above all, speak out while you still can. If you do not like a late-night comedian, don't watch him. If you don't want to read a book about gay boys kissing, choose a different one. If you don't want an abortion, don't have one. If you don't want a COVID booster, don't get one. Freedom means everyone gets to make choices for themselves, even if they're ones that you may not pick. It doesn't mean taking away that choice so that you don't get your feelings hurt. And it certainly doesn't mean taking away the voice of a writer who's trying to record this world, even if it's burning. Thank you so much for this.